Well, hello. I'm back. I wasn't, well, that's probably too much. Let's see here. Me and technology. I am 100% old man. Man, I know you can see me. That light is just shining right in my face. Anyway, yeah, I kind of took last week off. I do apologize for that. I know I had a good run there for about 6 weeks in a row. I was doing a live, and I'll get into why last Tuesday was such a problem here in a little bit. Let me kind of adjust the camera. All right, there we go. I'll get into that in a little bit. It's good to be back. I am alive. Still producing videos, still doing coaching. Life is going to get very, very complicated and busy for me very shortly. And lots of bowling about to happen. Everybody's league season, their summer leagues are wrapping up if they're not already finished. And the spring leagues, some of them are starting this week, some of them are starting next week. So the fall leagues, the fall and the winter leagues are getting ready to start. The big leagues, the ones that run a little bit longer, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more enjoyable. The bigger leagues are getting ready to start. I start next Thursday, a week from tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. And well, Rom7781, hello to you as well. I wanted to give a shout out to Craig Whammy. Being in my 50s and doing this YouTube thing, I still have a lot to learn. And again, I do all of this myself. I don't have a 20-year-old kid helping me in the background. I do all my own filming, all my own editing. I have to get the live stream up and going on my own, and I'm still learning all of that. And so one of the things, there's a community on the YouTube page where you can post things, ask me questions. Most people do that in the videos, comment in the videos and ask me questions. But there is this community that I post on not regularly, and I don't check it regularly. And I asked a question to Craig Whammy last video, the last live stream, and he answered it in my community. So I want to apologize to him for taking so long to respond to his statement and question. And again, I also have other jobs. I own businesses. I do other things, and some of this technology just eludes me. Oh, Rom. One senior 9-pin no tap by 1 pin, believe it or not, and we start league on Monday. Well, and we said I'm doing awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And congratulations to the win on the senior no tap. I wish I had a no tap league that I could bowl, because I can get 9 better than anybody I know. And I would love to bowl no tap. Because that'll keep me from having to shoot at 7s and 10 pins. Even though in my video about the 7s and 10s, I try to make it seem easy. And it is. It's all mental. So, had a little, with 7s and 10 pins, I get a little scatterbrained. And plus I'm socializing and having a good time bowling. And sometimes, I sometimes lose my mind on single pins. Yeah, I wish there was such a thing as a 7-pin no-tap league, because, I can get 7 or more pretty much 100% of the time. I would shoot a lot of 300s. I've bowled a couple 9-pin no-tap tournaments. Had a 4-gamer a few years ago that I shot 1,200 in. Well, actually, I've done that a couple of times. And then some, 279s. Well, not 279s. I had a 278 one time. But anyway, I would love to bowl some no-tap stuff, because, shooting spares is not as much fun. Yeah, your only 300s have been no-tap. Well, I've had a few of those, no tap. I've had a few the regular way as well. A couple 800s as well. So, want to talk to you, and I want to apologize for last Wednesday. And, back when I was growing up with, adults and my parents, we didn't talk about our feelings. We didn't talk about, when we were having trouble, and the difference between then and now is, there's just things that happen that I think need to be discussed. I think people need to be more open about. And so I will do that. A week ago Tuesday, I bowl a sports shot league. It's really a tournament every single Monday and Tuesday. Monday at one house, Tuesday at another. And then at the end of the summer, you have a big tournament. You have to qualify for it. You have to bowl so many tournaments or have to place and you qualify for this tournament. Well, Monday night I did have enough games to qualify, and I'd made some money in that, little tournament series. But I just didn't want to bowl Monday night. And so I watched my daughter bowl. She was one spot out of the cash on the big tournament. And then, Tuesday, a week ago yesterday, was what we call at Whitewood Lanes the big kahuna. It's the big culmination of all the tournament throughout the year. And, it's a dual pattern tournament. We had a short pattern on the left lane, a long pattern on the right lane. And, I wasn't throwing the ball particularly bad, but, again, I didn't want to bowl Monday night. Just didn't feel like bowling. And I really wasn't into bowling Tuesday night either, which was kind of odd. And I just didn't feel right. Started bowling Tuesday. 2 different balls. 2 different lines, obviously with a short and a long. And, I noticed something really weird. Now, I give you a little backstory also with that, which is my mother passed away from Alzheimer's a year ago April. And so I'm always kind of watching out for myself as a person that's always had a great memory, nearly photographic memory. And Tuesday night, I could not remember what ball I was throwing on each lane and where I was standing and what I was looking at. So making adjustments, and I was really struggling trying to find to find the pocket on either lane. And so I would get up on the lane and couldn't remember where I was standing, couldn't remember what I was looking at, and certainly couldn't remember what adjustments I needed to make. And it started to really affect me. My blood pressure started to go up, and then I would move to the next lane, and I couldn't remember what I had done the frame previous. And instead of trying to calm down and maybe start taking some notes, I just got more and more and more upset, that I couldn't remember. And it scared me. Bad, to the point where people didn't want me to drive home. They were scared that I wasn't going to make it to the house. I didn't think I was having a stroke, but the whole process really scared me. And I woke up Wednesday morning, 100% depressed. I just was. I've had a home improvement project that has not been going exactly the way I wanted it to go. Trying to get ready for high school bowling business. All of my businesses have not been doing well this particular month. And then this happened to me where Monday I didn't want to bowl, and Tuesday I really didn't want to bowl either, but I felt like I had to because, It was Whitewood Lanes, and it's my home center, and want to support the owners and support the center. And now I can't remember where I was standing, what I was looking at. 10 times I got up on a lane holding the wrong ball. Couldn't remember what ball I was using on each lane. And it really got me down Wednesday morning. And so I didn't go to work. I stayed at home. My wife was very concerned, and rightfully so, because it was completely unlike me. But like I said, when I was younger, we just didn't talk about our emotions. And I think, people go through things, and we need to talk about them, and we need to find friends that care about us enough to want to talk us through those things. And it was a weird time. That's why I wasn't here Wednesday. I wouldn't have been good for you anyway. I stayed at home and watched movie after movie after movie, and didn't really want to get up and get moving on Thursday either, but I did, and I'm much better. I'm much better now. Still having issues with my home improvement project, but trying to keep my calm and trying to get through it. And but high school bowling starts this Saturday, so we've got our preview open house starting this Saturday. So all of that is kind of coming ahead, and a little scary with everything else that I've got going on. I was kind of hoping to be done with this home improvement project way before this. Matter of fact, should have been done, into June, 1st of July, and now we're talking about not being done sometime into September. And again, trying to keep my calm, my cool, trying to be nice, but definitely frustrated. Well, thank you. I'm going back and reading some of the chats. 3 10 pins, 4 4 pins, 1 pocket 710, 3 strikes, and a Greek church. If that's all you had in three strikes in the Greek, that's a rough night. Rough night. And thank you. I appreciate that about my mother, but it's been over a year ago. It's, I have lost both my father and my mother, and, I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child. So it's just me and my family now, me and my 3 kids, and, one of the kids is out of the house. So last year been kind of transition for me, a little bit different. I've been taking care of my mother for the last 3 or 4 years, so it's been an interesting last year. Viking, sorry to hear about that. Getting older has a whole host of medical issues. Yeah, I'm not real sure it was medical. I think it was just more mental. Just needed a mental break. Yes, frightening. Appreciate you sharing your journey. I would agree that the check engine light comes on for no apparent reason as we get older. Did you get checked out? No, I did not. Just like about any other guy, I avoid the doctor as much as possible. Once I got back to work on Thursday, although I was still a little down in the dumps and a little depressed, my mind seemed to have come back. And hopefully you can tell. I'm still talking. Hopefully I'm not doing a whole lot of ums. I tried to avoid that as much as possible, but I seem to be mentally okay right now. There's an right there. So I haven't gone to the doctor. If it continues, if I get into league and it continues, I will definitely go get checked out. But my best friend is the owner of Whitewood, and he was definitely concerned. He didn't want me driving home. I had to call him when I got home. And they followed me. I have Life 360, and he was with my daughter that night, and they followed me on the app all the way home just to make sure I made it home. Well, thank you. May the Lord comfort you this time. I will sure keep you in my prayers. I do appreciate that. I believe in the power of prayer. We haven't really gotten into that in the live or on my channel, but I do believe in the power of prayer. One of the things I will be doing with the high school students this year is I'll be starting an FCA chapter. with the high school students. Very excited about that. Something I've wanted to do for the last 6 years. I just haven't been able to do it. So I do believe in the power of prayer, and I look forward to hopefully sharing my journey as a Christian. I will be honest. I am a Christian. I am looking forward to sharing my journey with a bunch of high school students. I hope it helps them. But getting back to Tuesday night, I did not bowl well, obviously. I really just didn't hit the pocket much. And even people I was bowling with who, I've won several of those weekly tournaments this year. They all thought because of the pattern and the way they were setting up that I was just going to crush it. And they were all a little concerned and wondering what the heck was going on with me, because I missed the head pin more than I actually hit the head pin. So it was a little concerning. One of the other things that we talked about last time on the live, so it was a couple of weeks ago, the last time I was on, we were talking about the PBA Elite League, and I was kind of giving my basic views on that. And it's funny how when you start opening your yapper about things you don't know about, and I'm still a little confused about the PBA Elite Regional Tour, it comes back to haunt you just a little bit. And how it came back to haunt me this year is that Whitewood Lanes is going to be the home of one of the PBA Elite Regional Tour events, one of the 3 in this region. And I am going to be heavily involved in organizing and planning for that. And I've already started some of that work, helping raise money and different things to try to make this event here in Lubbock to be very special. So if you are interested in, I think the level of competition is definitely going to go up. I just don't know the amount of people that are going to be here. But if you are interested in watching one of the PBA Elite Tour events, that's going to be right here in Lubbock, Texas at Whitewood Lanes. Have not decided whether I'm going to bowl in it or not. That's going to be a big financial commitment for me to bowl against some kids that there is no way in heck I can beat. So I haven't decided if I'm going to bowl in it or not. Probably make that decision sometime in October, whether I will bowl in that. But there are no PBA 50 regionals anymore, not this season. And so if I want to bowl in any of these tournaments, I'm going to have to bowl in some of these elite tour events. And I'm not sure my game is ready for that right now. So I'll make that decision in October. But I'm helping plan this. If you're interested, it's going to be mid part of October, I believe, 13th, 14th, 15th, something like that in November. And so I encourage you to start making plans to come out and watch one of the very first PBA Elite Tour, Regional Tour events right here in Lubbock, Texas. So start considering that right now. It'll be a good trip. I can help you, we will probably make some arrangements with some hotels, and I'll be announcing that a little later. If you want to get in a group setting and maybe get a little discount on your hotels here. I have not looked to see if there is a Texas Tech game that weekend. My guess is the very next weekend there is not one, so there's probably going to be a Texas Tech game hopefully that evening. So you might be able to come, watch the PBA Elite League, Elite Tour event, and then maybe go watch a Texas Tech game, in mid part of November if you wanted to make a trip that way. Couple other things that are going on that I want to make mention before I get off. But again, the chat is open. If you have any questions, concerns, you want to say anything, please send it out. We're going to go for about an hour today. So something that's coming up really soon. I've got 2 videos that will be coming out before this little project that I'm working on will start. I've got one coming out tomorrow. I gotta look and see what's coming out tomorrow. Oh, this is a video coming out tomorrow that I have wanted to do for a very, very long time. So one of the comments I get a lot from bowlers that are over 50 years old is they have trouble moving left. They know they need to move, and they're scared to move left, and because they feel like they're going to get too far left and not be able to have enough rev rate to get the ball to come back. So I did a specific video coming out tomorrow. I'm super excited about how bowlers with lower rev rate can get left, and all the tricks and tips and things that you can do to work on outside of league to help you get left and become a little bit more consistent with throwing the ball from further left than you've ever been before. And I do those things, and I get pretty far left. In this video, I'm bowling on a house shot that is not fresh, but I get myself up against the ball return. And again, I don't have a lot of rev rate. I have a lot of ball speed, but I'm definitely speed dominant, but I don't have a lot of rev rate. And so I go through all the things that you can do when you have to get left. The biggest point is I watch too many bowlers my age or older that are so petrified of getting left that they're always changing balls. They're trying to change speeds, throw the ball faster, not really change speeds, but throw the ball faster so that they can stay in the area of the lane that they feel the most comfortable, even when everything around them is telling them they're in the wrong spot. So I watch bowlers that they go through practice, they bowl their first game, they may have a good 200 game. And then the next game, maybe a low 200 game or a game just around their average. And then they fail to get left. They fail to deal with the transition that the lane is going to have. And they continue to try to stay in that same spot and do different things. And all they do is leave splits, 10 pins, 4 pins, 7 pins. They can't seem to strike, and they end up bowling a game under their average. And that's kind of the pattern. Good game, okay game, bad game. And because they're just too scared to move left. And every time, and I say this in the video, every shot, every time somebody throws a ball down the lane, changes the lane. Maybe a little bit, maybe a whole lot. And it depends on who you're bowling with. If you're bowling against a team with a lot of rev rate, and they're throwing it in your area, the lanes are going to change quite rapidly, maybe frame to frame. If you've got people on your team, and I notice this all the time, people on your team, y'all tend to throw the ball in the same spot. Well, every time one of your teammates throws the ball down the lane, it changes the lane. Whether it's a reactive ball, a big reactive ball with a big cover that's really porous, or a shiny ball, or a plastic ball or a urethane ball that actually stretches out the pattern. Every shot that goes down the lane changes the lane. And just increasing the speed or trying to take some hand out of it or changing bowling balls, is not always the answer. The biggest answer for a house shot in league is to start migrating yourself left. And at some point in time, if you are bowling with some high rev bowlers who started left, you're going to start crossing their path. And so you're going to have to make bigger and bigger moves. And those big moves scare bowlers with low rev rate. And so this video that's coming out tomorrow, super excited about it. It's something I've wanted to do for a very long time because I'm one of those guys. I never wanted to get left. And so I just had to break through the fear and work on it and figure out what it takes for me to get left, start migrating left, and continue to hit the pocket consistently with a angle to the pocket that has the potential to strike. Do I have a video about the timing of your approach? My timing has been off the last few months. I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to turn my back again. I'm going to look because yes, I do. Let's see. Well, we had a video that came out August 10th about timing. And then I've had one before that. Let's see. Sorry. Well, I would go to the video on August 10th. That would be a great place to start, and then you can kind of keep scrolling down. There's a couple. I think there's one more video about timing. I will talk to you more about that here in a minute as I announce what's the big thing that's going to be coming up really soon. Rom, guilty as charged. Rom, I struggle to move left as I don't trust it to come back. Well, your video is coming up tomorrow. Now, watch the video with an open mind and then get out there and practice what I'm talking about, and you will. It takes a lot of practice to overcome that mental block. It really does. I understand that mental block. I still have it sometimes because the last thing I want to do is start migrating left. I'm going to try everything else, even though I know better. I know better. That is the last resort. If I throw a shot and it hits the pocket and it just looks absolutely awful, then I move left. I need to move left faster than that. Viking. Getting left has always been an issue. I just got a new ball. I have to start left of the track. I figured out how to do it, but my carry percentage is lousy. Well, this video, again, may be for you as well. It may help you. You can throw a ball and hit the pocket, but you got to watch what the ball is doing. Is the ball continuing or is the ball deflecting? I say this all the time, hold your pose at the foul line and don't take your eyes off the bowling ball. Make sure you're watching it as it exits the pin deck. And where does that ball exit the pin deck? Just because you're having carry issues doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong ball. It could. It could mean that you're in the wrong ball. But it could be hand position, it could be speed, it could be all different kinds of things that I talk about in this video. And try all those things before you start getting out of a bowling ball. I've noticed way too much that ball is striking perfectly well for someone, and as the lanes transition and they need to move left, they think it's the ball. They think it's the bowling ball. And they change balls to something different, and they're having the same issue. So it could be the speed of the ball. It's all based on entry angle and the amount of power that ball has once it enters the pocket, whether it's going to deflect or not, because that's really what we're talking about. Is it driving its way through and hitting at least the left side of the 9-pin? Maybe not splitting the 8-9, but at least hitting the left side of the 9-pin, and you need to watch it. And sometimes we're all too fast to change bowling balls when it's really not the bowling ball issue. The bowling ball was striking before. It just needs to change your entry angle just a little bit. Well, thank you, Bowler Dan. Appreciate that. I'm not afraid of moving left. I'm just not smart enough yet to realize that it's a solution to my problems. Hand raise. Yeah. I'm guilty. I am not scared now to move left, but I am guilty of that as well. 9 pocket shots, 3 strikes, ball motion looks good. Is it really looking good? That would be the question. Is it really? I mean, if you're hitting the pocket 9 times and only getting 3 strikes, obviously there's something wrong. Might be the ball. Could be the ball. Sorry, I needed to take a sip. So here's something that I have. Maybe this is like the ebbs and flows of bowling. I don't know. But this last year, I averaged about 220 in one of my leagues and 216 in a league that I sub on. And I've been throwing clean pearl covers all year long. And I bowled a doubles tournament with my daughter recently, and started off with a solid cover bowling ball, solid cover ASIM, little weaker core, but a solid cover, and just crushed it. I was averaging 240, 250 on a house shot. And I started thinking, well, maybe I've just been thinking that I needed the ball to get down the lane and get a little sharper angle so I could keep my angles more in front of me instead of kind of looping the ball a little bit and bellying the ball a little bit. And so maybe this year in league, I may start actually with a solid cover ball and then move to a pearl to when I have to start moving left. It's kind of something I've been thinking about. But maybe it's just the ebbs and flows and, being summer and the oil is not as viscous, and maybe that's part of the issue. I don't know. But what was it? I think we're going to try that this year. I'm probably going to go with a smaller core ASIM with a bigger cover and start with that this year and see, what that produces early on. And if I don't like that, I'll go back to my pearls. But, the ball was going through the pins. Looked great. I was splitting the 8-9. So, when you split the 8-9, it's hard not to strike. It really is. Hey, cousin. Are we cousins? Oh, anyway. I've been wanting to go bowling after watching all your videos. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you're wanting to get back into bowling, and I'm glad you're watching the videos. I appreciate that. I hope you're learning something from it, and if it's encouraging you to get back into bowling, I did take quite a long time off, and so coming back to bowling, things are a little bit different these days with the reactive balls. When I stopped bowling for a while right after high school, we were still throwing urethane. Reactive hadn't come out. I got back into bowling, and all of a sudden we have a reactive resin balls, and the game, it just changed. And I wish I could say I was loving every minute of it. Obviously, last week I had some challenges, but for the most part, I'm enjoying myself. And I just love getting out there with the folks and with my friends and just having a good time. So the 10 pins were wrapped. 2 4-pins, ball looks like it was finishing. Then it's finishing too hard. The ball's coming in too much of an angle. The 4 pins and 10 pins that are wrapped are just telling me that there's too much angle. You needed a ball, or getting that ball to actually hook a little earlier. Could be a hand position thing where you get more up the back of the ball, which causes the ball to roll out a little earlier and hopefully hook a little earlier to get rid of the wrap 10s. And those strong 4 pins where everything just blows by them. Or it could be a ball issue where you might need to be going to a bigger cover ball, which is a very similar problem to what I had last year where we're throwing all these pearl ASIMs and my pearl symmetrical bowling balls, if I kept them near the gutter, would hook early enough, but the ASIMs tended to get too far down the lane, and I was getting a lot of wrap 10s. And some 4 pins too. So if it looks like it's finishing and you're leaving wrap 10s and 4 pins, that means the ball is coming in at too sharp an angle. Cousins of the shirt tail variety. Okay, gotcha. I got you. Yes, we are laying in the back of a semi-truck right now. Well, long haul, going cross country. I'm glad to have you here. Glad you're listening to me. got more viewers this time than we do most of the time. Most of our viewers from these lives come a whole lot later. My time, the 6 to 7 hour is, it's after work for me. There's nobody in my building. I'm in my office right now doing this. And so this is my time to be able to do this, but we get a lot of people watching these after the fact. Talked about the video. Getting left, that's what comes out tomorrow. We've got a video coming out on Monday, which these videos always get a ton of views, tons of views, more spare shooting, and we're going to be showing it my style, the way I do it. I'll be talking through how I pick up various pins and why I do it the way I do it, because my personal system makes sense for me. Just going to share it with you guys out there. On Monday was when this video comes out, and you can do with it what you will. I'm not saying anytime that my way of picking up spares is correct, but I give you the logical reasons why I do what I do. That way you can make some decisions for yourself on, and again, where I stand, and I think I say this in the video, and I want to be very clear. I'm 6'4". I stand 2.5 feet from my foul line when I release the ball. I go over that ad nauseum of why I do that. And I also, I just don't want to get into it right now. If you have questions about why I do that, go in my comments and some of my videos. There's always somebody asking me that question. There is a reason why I do that. But because I am 6'4" and I stand 2.5 feet from the foul line when I release the ball, where I stand and what I look at will be different for you than it is for me. Guaranteed. But should be somewhere in that area if you want to use my system for picking up spares. It's not really a system. It's just where I stand and what I look at and where I start. And also some tidbits about drifting and shoulder angle, hip angle, and how I get myself lined up to pick up my spares and the reason why I do it that way. So, hopefully you guys will take the time to watch that. Take from it what you will. It's how I do it. And some of my videos, I say I'm a really good spare shooter, and I am a good spare shooter, but some of my videos, you watch me and go, he can't shoot spares for nothing. And you would be right during my videos. I don't know why when the lights come on and I'm shooting a video, I can't pick up spares. But I am a pretty good spare shooter. So that video comes out on Monday. I'll show you how and my thought process. I look forward to you guys watching that and having any. Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted by the chat from Denver. So are you really my cousin? Because I have a lot of cousins in Denver. Lots of cousins in Denver. So I'm a little confused about the cousin comment, but I have a ton of cousins in Denver. My family is from the Colorado area. Both of my parents were born in the Denver area. They met when they were at college at CU Boulder. And then they moved to Texas right after they got married. And most of my family, all of my family, except for one cousin, lives in the Denver area. So, anyway. Well, give me a name. Salty fish doesn't get me anywhere. Give me a name. All right. So after Monday, things are going to start getting a little different with my videos. I'm still going to be doing 2 videos a week, but they are going to start coming out on different days. Instead of Mondays and Thursdays, the videos will start coming out on Sundays and Wednesdays. And there is a reason for that. So starting on September 5th, I will start my yearly clinic called boot camp. And it's exactly what I say it is. It's basic training for bowlers. Normally I was doing this for the high school program, but we're now inviting middle schoolers as well as adults to come to boot camp. Again, it'll go on for 3 weeks. Boot camps on Saturdays and Tuesdays. And then these videos will come out the very next day. So what they're learning in boot camp on Saturday, that video will come out on Sunday. What they're learning on Tuesday, and the videos that come out on Wednesday will be for boot camp that comes back on Tuesday. And so, that's why the change. I do encourage you to watch boot camp. And I want to be very clear about what we're trying to accomplish with boot camp. It is basic training. It is going to be very basic, very elementary. It's going to be the very simple things about bowling, because I feel, and I am totally and 100% convinced, that fundamentals have to be right before you can add any of these other videos that I do, any of these other tips and tricks that I show you. Your fundamentals have to be perfect before any of those things will work. If your fundamentals are bad, then me adding hand positions and changing those things are going to make things worse. It all comes down to fundamentals. And so these videos are going to be very elementary. Matter of fact, the very first video, I'm going to have people turning off because I teach people how to pick up a bowling ball from the rack. There is a right way and a wrong way to pick up a bowling ball off the ball return. So I know people are going to start tuning out at that particular point, but you shouldn't. You need to watch and get a good grasp of the fundamentals of bowling before we move on to anything else. And that's what boot camp is about. It's basic training. It is going to be broken down to the very minute detail of how you bowl, how to do the very basics of bowling. Once you have those things right and are feeling very comfortable with those things, then you can move on and add things to your game. But if your fundamentals aren't right and you're adding things to your game, it's just going to make things worse. So I know it's going to be rudimentary. I know it's going to be elementary. I know it's going to be extremely basic. But get your basics down right and everything else will follow. Let's see. I'm 71, started bowling again after a 35-year break. Sounds very familiar. Love your videos. They've been really great in helping me improve. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I've been getting that a lot lately. A lot of people who are retiring, they have their empty nesters and they're wanting to find something that is socialized, that gets them to socialize with other people, and a sport that they can compete in. And a lot of people are coming back to bowling at my age and definitely older. And I'm getting this a lot. Had a guy in the comments section recently, said he's just come back to bowling, started watching my videos, and he won a league, an individual senior league as an individual and as a doubles, this year, and was leading his current league as well. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to help people improve, and a lot of what I do is not what the pros do. And because it's not what the pros do, it comes down to people who are more like me, who don't throw the ball like the pros, who that just need some help, some tips, some tricks, some instruction on how to improve where they're at and not necessarily at the pro level. Okay. Now we know who this is. It's Braden. He is my cousin. He is a truck driver and he is based in Denver. Hello, Braden. I'm glad you're thinking about getting into bowling. You're out on your own and missing your family right now. You're in You were in Idaho. So, yeah, you just left Monday morning, I guess. Early Monday morning and drove to Idaho. So, man, thank you for watching. I guess you have nothing better to do at 6:45. It's probably only 5:45 where you're at. You probably got your 8 hours in today of driving, so you had to pull over and take a rest. Yep, that's my cousin, folks. Third cousin, actually. Got an interesting family. So I'm the youngest of all my first cousins. My mother was the youngest of her siblings. And then they took some time to have me as well. So I'm the youngest of all my first cousins. So all of my first cousins are much older than I am. Well, not much. I have one cousin that's lives in Indiana that's 7 or 8 years older than I am. And then this Braden's grandfather is my first cousin, and he's getting ready to turn 70, I believe, pretty soon, if not real soon. And so my favorite side of the family, I love them dearly, and I love Braden dearly. So I love you, brother, cousin. So be careful out there. I watch because I'm not that good at bowling, and now I really want to go and shoot some pins. All right, well, get out there and do it. You'll be home tomorrow night, I guess. So get out there Friday. Maybe you can find a Friday night league. You and Sammy can get out there and go bowling. She'll have to keep track of the kids. Got that a lot in leagues where I'm at. The wife comes, brings the kids. They have a good time. Watching their spouse bowl, or maybe even be able to bowl herself if she can find somebody to watch them. I know Grandma and Grandpa might be willing to do that. Not great grandpa, but Grandpa. Anyway, yeah, get out there and give it a shot. I'm giving you some good information here, so give it a shot. So anyway, we were talking about boot camp. Boot camp starts September 6th is the very first video. It's going to come out on Sunday, and then we've got a boot camp video for the next 3 weeks coming out on Sundays and Wednesdays, and it's all great stuff. And while I am doing boot camp, I'm hopefully going to throw in some short videos where you can see some of the kids doing some of this stuff, if they allow me to post that kind of thing, and you can take a look at boot camp. We'll end up with maybe 60 or 70 people in boot camp. If you're in the Lubbock area and want to join boot camp, you can certainly do that. If you're anywhere within driving distance, eastern side of New Mexico, Panhandle. If you want to come every Saturday and Tuesday night, we start at 6:30 on Tuesday nights. And even if you can only come to a few of them, it's really worth it. It's $110 for the boot camp itself. For $210, because of our sponsorship with Brunswick and all the Brunswick lines of bowling, for $210, you will get a bowling ball. Well, most bowling balls, high-end bowling balls, are costing anywhere from $180 to $215. So basically, you're getting, for the price of a bowling ball, you're getting instruction and a bowling ball. So I encourage you to think about that if you're out this direction and in the Lubbock, Texas area, and you want to get involved in boot camp. For the price of a bowling ball, you can get 6 opportunities of instruction, and then the YouTube videos will come out the day after, so you can review everything that you had learned the day before that. And for everybody else, you will get to learn right along with them with this YouTube channel and get involved in boot camp. And it is basic training for bowling. My wife watched a couple years. She's bowling her first 2 leagues since juniors many years ago. Well, that's great. That's kind of how my parents got started in bowling. My mother bowled in college a little bit. Her parents bowled in leagues when she was young. Well, not when she was young. When they were a little older, they started joining a league. And then when my mother moved from the Colorado area to Texas, she wasn't working, so she went to the local bowling center, got involved in a league. My dad would go and watch. And then my dad got involved in bowling maybe just a year or two later. He started bowling. And then we bought the pro shop in our hometown. And I worked in the pro shop until I was 21, 22 years old. Well, we owned it until I was maybe 19 or 20 years old. And we finally got out of it. That's kind of the first business I got in, was in the bowling pro shop. I worked at the bowling center. I was a pin chaser. Spent a lot of time at the bowling center because we were in the bowling center nearly every night. When we did buy the pro shop, I was in the bowling center every day except for Sundays. And anyway, so that's kind of my background. My parents bowled, and my dad didn't start bowling until he watched my mother do it, and then he got involved, and he was men against men, women against women. My mother was the better bowler. And really her average was not much less than my father, but my father's nickname in the town I grew up in was Mr. 300 because he had more 300s than anybody. And that was back when 300s were really rare. So my mother never had a 300, but she had a lot of 290s, 299, I think. She had multiple 279s. And so we come from a kind of a bowling family. And Braden, by the way, your great, let's see, how many greats is that? At least your great-great-grandparents were bowlers, just so you know. Clyde and Maud Salyards were bowlers. So you come by it honestly if you enjoy it. Got pictures of my grandparents bowling. So you come by it honestly. So get out there, give it a shot. Yes, Virgil, it is heck of a deal. It is a fundraiser for high school bowling. Part of the proceeds go back not only of the bowling ball, but also of the entry into the clinic. Go back to help support high school bowling in this area. There are a lot of high school bowlers that will be bowling this year that can't afford, because bowling in Texas is a club sport, and so each individual has to pay their own way. And so we raise money to buy equipment. We raise money to buy jerseys, and different things like that for the students. Also, if you're interested, and you can chat me up in the community, if you're interested in donating to West Texas High School Bowling Club, feel free to go check us out on the web at WTHSBC.com. And we have bowlers, league bowlers, that will sponsor one kid or maybe two kids and help them out with their fees to get them involved in bowling. And we'll end up with somewhere, hopefully in the low hundreds of high school bowlers in our area, from Plainview down to Brownfield, Texas, and all places in between. We have about 13 different schools that bowl in our club, district, however you want to look at that. So if you're interested in donating to that, I will help you with that as well. You can go to WTHSBC.com and go to dues and donations, and you can make a donation there to my high school program. And every dollar that is raised goes back to the kids. I am a volunteer, do not get paid for this. All the coaches are also volunteers, so they don't get paid either. So 100%, other than the credit card fees, go back to the students. So if it's laid on your heart, feel free to do that. Bowler Dan, have to get ready for league. Thanks for the live chat. God bless you, brother. Well, God bless you, sir. I appreciate any blessings right now, because we've got a lot of stuff going on. And again, I'm going to be starting an FCA chapter with this group this year, and really excited about that. It'll be on the second Tuesday of every month. I'm going to call it 2 Tuesday Bowling. So 2 Tuesday FCA bowling. It's going to be exciting. I bowled with a guy that had a 300 award watch. Yep, those are old. Every time he got another 300, he would get a diamond chip to put on a number on the watch face. Well, that's cool. Yeah, they used to be able to, and I think you still can. If you have multiple 300s, you can get different rings for multiple 300s. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you one right now. If I can get up. Here is, let's see if I can do this. Maybe need to turn the lights off. And we might see if this is one of my dad's 300 rings from back in the day. This was for his second one. And if I know you can't see this, but it is encrusted with diamonds. And I think that is all the 300s that he had, which is he got a new diamond in his ring every time he had a 300. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 diamonds in that ring. He got this one after his second 300, and then I think he added diamonds for every one that he had afterwards. So I've got that in my case that I look at periodically with my dad. His first 300 ring was in silver, and this was in some kind of gold material, but it does say American Bowling Congress on it. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. I'll turn off this light maybe and see if that can... Well, I don't know if that's any better or not. All right, let me see if I can get down a little bit. There it is. Pretty cool. The watches are kind of old. It is, there we go. So you can see me better. Like you really want to look at me. So I think, the watches there are a few other things that I've found that people have. They used to give out things for triplicates as well. If you could bowl 3 games, exactly the same score you would get, there would be a patch or some deal. But I saw something a few years ago that I thought was interesting, is if you left a lily, you would get a pocket knife. And a gentleman that I was bowling with still had his lily pocket knife, which I thought was interesting. That was one of the things available. They just don't do any of that stuff anymore. Patches are kind of gone. I've got some 300 patches in my case over here that my dad had earned. I've got a box of patches that I earned as a youth bowler because I was a much better youth bowler than I am an adult bowler. And one of these days I need to show you a video that I have. So years and years ago in Indianapolis, there was a tournament that, and I tell, my high school bowlers that I used to be a really good bowler. Back in my day, we didn't have junior gold. We had a thing called Coca-Cola Nationals, which is the precursor to junior gold now. A similar concept, definitely not as many people were bowling in it. And I placed 7th in the country in U18 in 1988 in Coca-Cola Nationals. But there was another tournament back in, I'm going to say like 86, 87. Maybe it was 85. Somewhere in that range. We were bowling in Indianapolis, and what happened, there was a guy named Jim Belial who used to run a tournament that was kind of a national tournament before there was the, USBC Junior Gold. So he ran, it was a team doubles and singles tournament, and then he would pull out bowlers, the top bowlers from that tournament, and pay their way to go bowl against the pros. And we would get some kind of handicap. I don't remember what it was. And we would get to bowl handicapped against the pros. And this particular year was in Indianapolis. And, I tell my bowlers, that when I'm coaching and doing things, that I was pretty good. And there was a picture that Mike Albee was holding up on Inside Bowling during the U.S. Open this year. And he was kind of going through pictures. And one of the pictures was a picture of Chris Schenkel who was the commentator for ABC for the PBA, and it was in front of a leaderboard, and they were reading off the names of the people on the leaderboard, and my name popped up. And I think we were on TV. If you made the top 5, you made a step ladder, and we were going to be on TV bowling against the pros, and I got 6th. So I was one away, but it was kind of cool on Inside Bowling to hear my name come up for this tournament. And some of my bowlers were watching this event, on Inside Bowling, and they hear my name and they go, well, you really were pretty good. And yeah, I wasn't bad. Much better than I am now, but I had a great time with that. So, hey, you've got to see a little insight here. You got to see a 300 ring, my dad's 300 ring, which I look at daily, and a little tidbit of information about youth bowling back in the 80s when bowling was still pretty big. Shortly thereafter, in the 90s, they had a ton of tournaments, but they were having trouble with sponsorships. And then late in the 90s, everything kind of went to heck with bowling. And it's really because of cable TV and so many different sporting events are available out there. All right, going to give you another minute or so to ask me any questions, but we've been going for about an hour, and that's about as long as anybody needs to be listening to the sound of my voice. We had a great group on the chat. I got to say hi to my cousin, which is cool. Please be safe. Please be safe, and look forward to seeing you real soon. Get to see your grandfather in a couple of weeks. We're going to be going to Indianapolis, coincidentally, for a wedding, and we'll get to hang out with your father for a little bit. Looks like my camera has died, which is not cool, but you can still hear my voice. So at this point, since you can't see my face and the camera has died, I think it's a great opportunity to go ahead and kick off. I hope to be back next Wednesday. Please watch the videos that are coming up in the next few days. I do this for you guys. I'm having a lot of fun giving instructions and having fun with that. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching this live stream. And I will try to be back next Wednesday, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And we will see you real soon. I want you to get out there, have some fun, and good bowling.